Hello there, FFTCG community. I'm Judge Jared, and I'm here to share my exclusive spoiler with you today from Opus 27 that's coming out in a couple of weeks here. I am, excited to share that with you. A big thanks to Square Enix for the spoiler, specifically to Sarah from Square Enix for the spoiler and the opportunity to do one of these. It's always fun to get to do something with a spoiler. Earlier in the week, I released a video that was like a musical hint teaser of what the spoiler is going to be today. So for those of you that watched that, thank you for watching that. If you haven't watched it yet, you can pause this right now and then go watch that, see if you can figure out what the music was from, and then come back to this. But spoiler alert for those of you that did watch it, a lot of people did get it correct. They guessed that it was the Battle 2 theme from Final Fantasy 2. So if you listened to that before without knowing what it was and you're able to guess it correctly, then kudos to you. Like, well done there, because that is a bit of a deep cut in FF music lore, as it were. So props to you for correctly guessing that. And I guess that's a good sign that I didn't completely butcher it. So yay me, I guess. But yeah, it's the theme that's used for boss fights in Final Fantasy 2. So naturally, a bunch of people went, okay, well, it's Final Fantasy 2, it's boss fight music, it's probably the Emperor, right? The natural follow-up to that is, well, wait, we just got an Emperor for Card of the Week like a couple weeks ago, so are we really going to have more than one Emperor in the same set? Because usually it's pretty rare to have the same card name twice in a set, unless it's like a big name. It's like, oh, we got two Zidanes, we got two um, Lightnings, something like that, two Titus. Uh, and so it's pretty rare for the most part. That being said, yeah, my spoiler is the Emperor. Um, so even though we already had an Emperor, we got another Emperor here. And if there's something you never want to bet against, it's against Kageyama's love for the Emperor and the fact that he will keep finding ways to make new cards of the Emperor. So yeah, here we are. We're gonna have a second Emperor. So I figured, since I have this setup already here that I've been using for other videos, I thought, you know what, let's do like a field here. And so in talking about the spoiler, I'm going to kind of simulate us through a game a little bit. And instead of just talking about how we could use the new card, I'll just, kind of show you demonstrate some stuff here. Yeah, something a little bit different. So I've got this all set up to kind of do a mock game, or at least mock turn, let's say. So yeah, let's start off with that. So I got my opening, or not opening. This is a game in progress, obviously. We didn't start with all these cards in play. And I'm going to draw the first two cards here. And okay, got the two cards. Now, as it turns out, my spoiler is actually already out here on the field, if you haven't noticed already. So we've got the Emperor right here. You might not be able to see him that well, so let's go ahead and pop him up here. All right, so the Emperor. The Emperor is a 3 CP lightning forward with a couple of abilities. The second one here is the most interesting to me, the auto ability. Wait, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Oh, geez, I put the wrong one out there. My bad. My bad. That's actually not my spoiler. That's the Opus. The Opus 20. Opus 20 Emperor. Okay, well, screwed that one up. Let's tell you what. Okay, I can make this work. So, this ability I was just about to tell you about has this thing in it where it says that when the Emperor is put from the field into the break zone, you can search for a card named the Emperor of cost 3 or less, played onto the field dull. Tell you what, let's just use that, and then I'll get the right card instead of having to start this all over again. So I need to break the Emperor. You know what? Okay, I've got my Prime to Freet right here. So why don't we Freet, if you don't mind? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and we'll Spit Flare, since I have this in my hand anyway. We'll Spit Flare the Emperor. All right. Emperor's been Spit Flared. I'm gonna search for my spoiler now in here. Emperor of cost 3 or less, played onto the field dull. Okay. Uh, um, Sorry for the extra time here. I should have planned this out better. Okay. All right, there it is. Let's do just quick shuffling because we searched. We should be shuffling. Let's do that. I don't want to eat up too much time. Okay. All right, so the Emperor here. Here's my spoiler. So the Emperor is a 3 CP ice forward, has a couple of abilities, and wait. Okay, that's not the right one either. I just went into the deck and I still grabbed the wrong freaking one. Okay. Um, All right. Well, you know what? If it worked once, we'll try it again. So this emperor, oddly enough, has a very it's supposed to be dull. My bad. See, I'm screwing up everything today. Um, this emperor says when it's put from the field in the break zone, you can search for a card named the Emperor of cost 5 or less and play it onto the field. Okay, so Ifrit, if you don't mind, you know what? Let's just spit flare the Emperor again. Why not? Let's do that. Okay. Now I can grab the right one. Third time's a charm. Um, you'd think that I would have planned this out better. So, yeah, let's. Okay, there's my spoiler. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So, all right, got him out there. Got my hand collected again. Let's see this one. This one, yes, I played not dull this time. Okay, so the Emperor. Here's my spoiler. So the Emperor is a dark forward, not lightning, not ice. Dark forward, 5 CP, and wait, no, that's the oh geez, that's the Opus one. You know when you haven't seen a card in so long that it feels like it's brand new. Like it just seems like that's a spoiler I haven't seen yet. Yeah, this is this is Opus one actually. I don't know if I've ever seen this card into the field. Okay. Um cool. Well, he's only 9K, so we can do this again. We can make this work. All right. Ifrit, if you don't mind, cool. Let's just spit flare. If it worked twice, it'll work 3 times. So let's spit flare our Emperor. We're gonna get to search for a card named the Emperor and play it onto the field dull. So all sorts of consistency here on whether or not the Emperor is dull. Okay, Opus 27 Emperor is what I'm supposed to be grabbing. Not Opus 1, not Opus 20, and whatever the other one was. Okay, my bad. Sorry. Um, Opus 27. Okay, there we go. All right. There's the Opus 27 Emperor. My bad. Okay, shuffle again. Gotta do this again. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Hand. Okay. So here's the Opus 27 Emperor. 2 CP water forward. So water forward here. Has the ability, it says when the Emperor is put from the field into the break zone, draw 1 card. That's cool. And then you may play 1 card named the Emperor of cost 5 or less from your hand on the field. Oh wait, this one's supposed to be dull. Someday I will get this right. I'm like rushing to get this done the night before I said I was gonna put this up, so that's why it's so sloppy. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be dull. Oh wait, no. This isn't even okay. Yeah, this is the Opus 27 Emperor. But that's the one. That's the one that was card of the week. Geez. Okay. Okay. All right, but this one plays it from the hand. Do I have? Oh, I do have it in my hand. I'm sorry, I've had it in my hand like the whole time here. Let's break this Emperor though. Ifrit, if you don't mind. Let's just spit flare this Emperor. Ifrit is got some gastric issues going on today. Okay, so we're gonna break the Emperor. I get to draw a card off of that, so we'll start off with the card draw, and then I get to play an Emperor onto the field, not dull this time. And so here we go. There's my spoiler. That one. Okay, my mistake. So the Emperor, it is actually a dark forward after all. It's 5 CP, and he's got this ability. Wait, I got the right one from my hand, right? No, that's not the right one from my hand. Okay. Well, okay, this one, luckily, okay, it wasn't the one on my hand. I was mixed up. Why, okay, Kageyama, why are there so many emperors? Why do you got to make my spoiler video so difficult? This one though, when it enters, you search for up to 2 the Emperor from your deck and then remove them from the game. So, yeah, actually, it wasn't the one in my hand. So I'm just gonna go ahead and we'll do the search here and grab the ones that so I need 2 of them. There shouldn't be that many left in here. Okay, so it's I'll just grab like the first 2 that I see here. Okay, so I found that one and I found that one. Okay, quick shuffle. These ones don't get played. These are being removed from the game. Okay. Try to speed this up because I'm just screwing it up so much. Okay, so this one's going to stay on the field here, but we're going to go ahead and remove this one. And this one's my Spoiler, that's the Opus, or not Opus 20. Wait, no, that's Opus 5 one. I'm sorry. Okay, my bad. My bad. It's this one. It's this one. Okay. The lightning forward here. This is nope, that's the Opus 7 Emperor. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, they get removed. They get removed. Okay. Get removed from the game. Let's just finish resolving this and I'll find where the Emperor is. Okay. We remove those two. We get 2 counters on the Emperor that prevent damage. So Spitflare ain't gonna work there, is it? And then he got 2 counters. I draw 2 cards. Okay. There we go. Okay. Got that worked out. Okay, I still haven't gotten to my spoiler. I'm inundated with emperors, and I need to figure out. Oh, jeez. Okay, so here's the problem with doing videos the way I do it is that I don't do any editing. It's all in one take. So when I'm recording, if I make a mistake or a lot of mistakes, then my choices are either to do the whole thing over again or just kind of roll with it and make it work. And obviously I'm trying to make it work because this is like my 3rd or 4th attempt at this. I totally screwed up the order on this because I've actually had the Emperor on the field the whole time back here. The backup Emperor just kind of blended in with the rest, so I messed that up. But I've already resolved this Emperor here, so I'm going to do a judge call on myself. So judge self. Okay. The way that you would resolve this in a game is you would go, okay, well, we can't rewind it because we did all the searching and shuffling, removing and drawing. So we're just gonna put both of them into the break zone. We'll just fix it that way. All right. And they don't get any effects from going to the break zone. So okay. Jeez. Judge call in the middle of a video. Okay, so all right, it wasn't my hand, but it wasn't the one from before. That's what it was. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll play. Here we go. Okay, so there's my spoiler. It's the Emperor. You can see it right there. 2 CP ice forward, and nope, that's not the right one. But it can search for an Emperor when I put it in the break zone. Okay. Ifrit, cool. Spitflare. Yep, let's do this. Let's do this again. Because it's definitely not. Yeah, okay. All right, so Emperor, put it in the break zone. I get to search for one in the deck, put it into the break zone. At the end of the turn, this Emperor comes back, but we're not going to make it that far. So it's fine. I don't have to worry about name clashes. All right, there should only be 1 Emperor left in the deck here. So, because I've gone through, you're not an Emperor, you're not an Emperor, you're not an Emperor, you're not an. Okay, there we go. That's the last remaining Emperor in the deck, if you don't believe me. Here, we'll just do a quick little cycle through. Yeah, okay, none of those are Emperors. All right. So while I'm shuffling, you can look at, so here's my spoiler, which is the Emperor. It's dark forward. Pretty simple on the, oh, yeah. No, actually, that's the Opus 2 Emperor. Okay, so I just showed you the last Emperor in my deck, so it's clearly not in there. Okay. Done shuffling. This goes in the break zone anyway, so it wasn't that. Okay, so there's no more Emperors in my deck. Where did I put it if it's not in the deck there? Oh, it's the LB. I'm sorry. It's the LB Emperor. That's what it was. Okay. I have an Emperor in my hand, but this is like very much not, that's not my spoiler. So I'm going to use this to pay. This one I can dull for wind. So dull it for wind. I'm going to discard this and we're going to play the Emperor. Let's just put those 2 there. Keep this fast. Okay, so here's the Emperor. Here's my spoiler. All right, there's the Emperor. When it wait, no. Okay, that's the LB Emperor, but that's what opus was that? That was 25. That's almost 2 sets ago. Okay. I am running low on cards in hand here. But I've got one last Spitflare. So let's go ahead and let's Spitflare the Emperor here because that's very much not the right card and I need to get him off the field. Okay. It's one. All right, it was, yeah, not in the deck. I just did the LB Emperor, so we're done there. Okay, it's this one. Here we go. I don't really have a way to pay for it, but let's look at it anyway. Because I'm just too low on cards. Okay, so this is the Ice Earth Emperor nope, wait, that's not it either. Okay, let's put that back in my hand. Oh, I know why I messed this up because I need the Stranger of Paradise. This one is not category 2. It's a Stranger of Paradise Emperor. Okay, so there we go. That's the Stranger of Paradise Emperor right there. You can see him. And he's definitely from Stranger of. That's not. No. Okay. Okay. Well, those are the last two cards in my hand. And we just looked through the deck. It's not in the deck. It's not in my hand. Uh, right. I was so close when I got the LB one before because that is where it is. Okay. Whew, we got there eventually. Thanks for bearing with me throughout all of this. Okay. There's the Emperor. Let's just put it's only LB1. Cool. All right. Do that, and it's lightning and ice. So I've got my ice and my lightning right here. We'll just discard these last two, and there we go. Okay, there is my spoiler. Whew, that took a while to get to it. Sorry for making you sit through all that. Okay, the Emperor. So the Emperor is an LB card. One of the new cycle here that was from we're getting kind of all the elemental combos that we haven't already had for LBs. It's Ice Lightning, which is an elemental combo that has it could use some love. It was pretty strong for a little bit there. Has just kind of been outpaced by other stuff because it's usually pretty kind of aggressive. I mean, it can shift around. A lot of Ice Lightning was for a while was doing the the restrictor searching for Weiss and then getting or getting for Nero, sorry, getting Nero and then searching for Weiss and then doing that whole thing. But the deck was pretty versatile. It could be aggressive when it wanted to be, especially with discards and stuff. So we haven't seen it in a while because it's two elements that are honestly a bit rough when it comes to like board wipes, and they also don't have any auto ability cancelers. Well, okay, I shouldn't say they don't have any because you technically have Shulk in ice, but nobody's doing that. So let's look at what it does. It's LB1, like I mentioned, so that's kind of cool that it's low investment as far as the LB cost on this. 4CP 7K. You always want to remember that LB cards they're kind of 2 CP less in their cost, in the sense that you're not using a card from hand. So in terms of total resources used, it takes 2 less CP in resources that you're using to cast an LB card. So it's almost like a 2 CP 7K in a sense. You have to have the right elements, of course. Got 2 abilities. First one is just when the Emperor attacks, choose one forward, dull it. It's nice and simple, but it fits into the game plan a lot of times of both Ice and Lightning cards, and just both their identities of dulling stuff. It's specifically when it attacks. What's cool is that's repeatable because it's every time it attacks. So it's not just when it enters the field, dull something, but it's just every time it attacks, you have to dull something. And then you've got the second ability, which is when the Emperor leaves the field, you may search for one card named the Emperor and add it to your hand. You have a lot of choices for which Emperor you might want to search for. We've gone over them, all of them, in the last like 10 plus minutes. So the thing I like about that second ability is it's got the magic words leaves the field. Why are those the magic words? Because there are so many abilities in the game that say when this forward goes from the field into the break zone, right? Those are good abilities. They're strong, but occasionally your opponent can work around them because they're using like Refia, and so it just goes back into your deck, or they're returning it to your hand, or they're removing it from the game. Something that gets around that kind of that ability so that you don't get the value off of it. Leaves the field is like the top tier version of that wording because it's just any time it leaves the field for any reason. The only way that you're going to lose this and it not get that effect is if they stole it, which they could with like Chaos or something, I guess. Because it doesn't count as changing the field, or sorry, it doesn't count as changing zones when it goes from your field to their field. But yeah, so no matter what happens, even if they do return it to your hand, which then of course, because it's an LB card, goes right off, you still get to do the search. And so that's pretty cool. Obviously, it fits in with the identity, as we saw. It fits in with the identity of the Emperor as somebody who just you can't really ever fully get rid of. And so it's kooky that way. You can get it to kind of start off whatever Emperor chain nonsense you feel like doing. Yeah, so as far as other cards that you could use with it or things that you could use alongside it, I'm just going to move Ifrit over. Thank you for your service, Ifrit. So the dulling, like I said, is cool because it's repeatable and it fits kind of a recent identity that we've had in a couple of lightning cards, namely Zack and Reno. They both have auto abilities that trigger when an active forward your opponent controls becomes dull due to your summons or abilities. It triggers an auto that deals damage. In the case of Zack, it deals 5k damage to something. In the case of Reno, it deals 4k damage to something, and you also can give a Turk haste. So I like that these work together. Zack, of course, also has his own ability to dull things. So you can kind of double dip there. So yeah, this will enable these two. So like if you have the Emperor out and then it's the next turn, you can play Reno, attack with it, trigger the Reno. You're now dealing 4k to something and giving him haste. That's neat. If you have the Emperor already out and you play Zack, now you can do the same thing. You could also party attack the two of them if there's like an Ifrit on the other side or something just big. You can party attack them if they have at least two forwards. You'll get both triggers, and then so you can dull the two forwards. You trigger Zack twice. You do 5k and 5k to something, and now it's very dead. Or just individually, you could attack with one and then dull something, deal 5k, and attack with the other one 5k. So those are things that I think about when I think about this Emperor and the way it can be used. And like I said, the repeatable nature of the dulling is pretty cool. Another card that I think about alongside this is Al Cid, which of course is a staple of the Lightning Ice archetype. Obviously, it's an LB card. We're not playing it off of Al Cid, but if you have Al Cid in play, then when you cast the Emperor, you're going to hit the trigger of Al Cid to freeze something, which is cool. And then while Al Cid is in play, when the Emperor attacks, you can choose two things to dull. So that's kind of neat because you'll trigger the Emperor's own ability and then also Al Cid's ability. So you can kind of double dip on that. So those are some kind of quick combos that I think of when I think of what to do with this Emperor. The other thing that I like is this card is kind of a good neutral play on turn one. Let's say you just have a awful opening hand, right? Opening hand sucked. You mulliganed. You went to the next 5. Your opening hand still sucks. It's a nice even costed card. So even on turn one, you don't have to worry about overpaying for it. And it's only LB1, so you're not even digging deep into your LB. You're not like using up that resource too quickly. And so if you just play the Emperor on turn one, it's a pretty good like neutral play, I would say, in the sense that like you're discarding 2 cards, of course, but you're going to end up with a 7k body that your opponent has to at least think about, because next turn it will come in and do damage. Even if they play a blocker, it's going to dull that blocker, come in and deal damage. If they spend any resources to try to keep it from attacking you, then you're kind of starting to win the resource war on that, because chances are they're not going to do it cheaper than you just paid to get him out there. If they remove it, same thing. It's probably going to cost equal to or more than what you spent on it. And if they do remove it, then you get the rebate of getting to go into your deck and grab another Emperor. So you just get 2 of that CP back, unless it's one of the dark ones, I guess. But you get a card back at the very least if they get rid of it. So it's not the worst thing. It doesn't have haste, unfortunately, so you can't kind of get in right with it right away with the dulling. But yeah, I just like it as a little bit of a fail-safe option. Because I mean, other lightning and ice LBs you have are more reactive, right? Like no one's gonna want to turn one Surjace or Victoria. I mean, unless your opponent did played a forward turn one that you really, really need to freeze or something. You're probably not gonna do those turn one. You don't want to do a Cloud LB turn one unless, again, there was an important card out there, in which case you were gonna do that anyway, no matter what. But if it's like your opponent hasn't gone yet, or they just played a backup or something, you're not playing Cloud, you're not playing Gilgamesh, you're not playing Edge or Nyx or Sephiroth or Surjace or Victoria or Kuja, right? You're not doing any of those, but this card doesn't feel bad to do turn one. Just throw it out there. The only downside, I guess, with the search part of it is that then you have to eat up at least 1 slot in your deck with an Emperor to have something to search for. I guess you could try to mind game it and just not put one in there, but your opponent doesn't know and they just don't want to give you the value, but you don't actually have it. Or the other flip side of it is if you put in a copy of the Emperor as like a meta call, if there was a whole bunch of action abilities going rampant and you're like, I'm going to put a single Opus 2 Emperor in my deck, and then, I'm just leaving it like that. I don't have a way to search for it normally. But then your opponent is playing and you're early on, you realize, oh crap, I'm going to need that. Then just throw this guy out there and see if they'll let you do the search themselves. Um, and then, like I said, if you want to, you can mess around with the other ones that do some of the searching, like the one we started with, the 3 CP Lightning one, that that also messes with action abilities, but you can do it that way. You can use the searching for an emperor to element fix. If you have one of each in there, when it breaks, you can go search for whichever element you need. The other thing I kind of like, it's a little bit cheeky, is there was that backup that we had before. So if you didn't have any backups in your opening hand, and that was part of your whole kind of awkwardness, and you just throw the emperor out there, then if it's either gonna get in for some damage, or if it gets removed, then you get to go search for backup. And then it's a 2 CP backup, so you don't feel bad throwing that down early. So there's that, and that backup's also got an X burst on it, I think. So that's another option. And then if you're in a crystal deck, then when this thing gets broken, you can go ahead and search for the Crystal Emperor, which, now that I think of it, I don't have Lady Lilith here, but like that's cheeky too, right? If you have Lady Lilith out, because the other Stranger of Paradise Emperor that does crystal stuff, uh, it can do, I think, some board wipey type. Oh, it's right here. I can look at it. So it's got the ability to break all forwards and monsters opponent controls with 3 crystals. So what you can do is you could, if you wanted to, you play this, and then you Lady Lilith it to just remove it from the game, generate yourself a crystal, and then when it enters, go grab the lightning emperor that you need, so you can start getting ready to do board wipe stuff. Especially if you have enough crystals that you can throw the emperor down and then give it haste and then do the whole nonsense. Like if you have 4 crystals, then good on you. So yeah, those are the things that I think about with this card. Is it game breaking? No. But it's cute to me, and like I said, it's a good neutral play. I don't think it's gonna like make it so, oh man, Ice Lightning is back on the map here, but I'll mess around with it, I guess, if I'm messing around with Ice Lightning, and just kind of see if there's some cool value there. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. It's a lot longer of a video than I think most people would expect or do for a spoiler, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were entertained. And as always, you can find me in the usual places. You can like this video. You can subscribe to me if you haven't already. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed to me. I did recently pass 250 subscribers, and that is awesome. And you were awesome. And yeah, that's all great. So if you haven't subscribed already, you can join the awesome people and do that there. I will leave it at that. I've rambled enough, and thank you for watching. Thank you again to Square Enix. Thank you to Sarah, and I will see you in whatever comes up next. Thank you for watching. My name is Judge Jared, and until next time, court is adjourned.